everyone, it's Fantayzia. So today I wanted to talk about items and features that we still don't have in The Sims 4, considering it's 2025 now and we're about to hit 11 years for The Sims 4 in September, which is crazy. And also we have of course found out a little while back that they do not plan to make a Sims 5. I still believe that's going to change, but who knows? Instead, they just want to keep The Sims 4 going as long as they possibly can. So with that in mind, I feel like things like this, or a lot of them anyways, maybe not every single one of them, I just feel like a lot of these things on my list should be in The Sims 4 at least at some point. I feel like a lot of these things should already be in The Sims 4, but with that, let's go ahead and get into my list. I have a list of about 30 things here, but some of them have multiple things in one. The first one on my list is toasters. I don't know how we still don't have toasters. I feel like it's such a basic kitchen appliance. I really do think people would love that because there is a toaster mod and people love that. I loved that for so long, and now I'm going minimal with my mods and trying to use the features in the game and only using mods that kind of like help me out with different things like MC Command Center. So I don't want to be getting all these mods that add like, you know, new features. I just want it to be in the game, especially for console players who don't even have access to mods. So another one is blenders. I feel like that is another kitchen appliance that should be in the game. It would be great to make lots of different things, smoothies, protein shakes. I just feel like it would be a great opportunity for new recipes. Next up is more gym equipment. So this is where I have multiple things written. Things like dumbbells, weight bars, an exercise bike. Heavy on the exercise bike because we've had those before in previous Sims games. So I'm not sure why they're still not in The Sims 4. And I just feel like we're missing a lot of basic workout equipment. We do have a yoga mat, but then, we don't just have little weights that your Sims can pick up. And I feel like that would be an easy thing for your Sims to do if you just want like some workout equipment around the house that's something small. That is literally perfect. So next on my list is strollers. Oh my goodness. I really was convinced that we were going to get strollers with Growing Together. And because that didn't happen, I don't know if we'll ever get them. I don't know where they would squeeze that in. But again, since they plan to just continue The Sims 4 for as long as possible, I guess, maybe we're gonna see other packs that have to do with like family stuff. I mean, I'm all for family packs. I don't know how they could make a whole other pack on family stuff unless they did it as a game pack or a stuff pack instead of an expansion. But we haven't seen a game pack in so long. Next on my list is walking canes. I think this was another missed opportunity with the Growing Together pack. I think walking canes would have been so great for the elders. Going along with that is wheelchairs, except I would love for them to not only be for the elders because anyone can need a wheelchair. So I don't think we'll ever get something like that. I'm going to be totally honest. I could be wrong. Because maybe they're going to start adding these sort of things to The Sims 4 since they want to keep on expanding on the game. But I just feel like we don't have enough stuff like that. We did get hearing aids, for example, but they're just a piece in Create a Sim. They're not functional in any sort of way. I feel like we need things like functional glasses and all of that. Just, normal things that people have in real life and it's just not represented in the game in any sort of way. So number 7 is playpens. Now, I put that on my list because yes, with Growing Together, they did give us like these different fences or whatever that, look like a playpen type of thing. So you can make a playpen. I've done that, but that's not exactly what I was hoping for. I really want like an object, kind of like we had in The Sims 3. I think you had to get it off of the Sims 3 store where you could just place down the playpen and there was certain interactions with the playpen, new interactions. So next is pool slides. I've been literally begging for pool slides for years at this point. I've mentioned it in other videos talking about things we don't have in The Sims 4 yet or my wish list, stuff like that. I do think if we get a hotel or resorts type of pack, they'll include pool slides. At least I really hope so. And then also proper diving boards. Some people may not care about this because of the diving platforms. I personally really think we need actual diving boards. So number 10 is pool covers. I feel like because we have seasons, there should be pool covers. I think that would have been a cool thing to actually put in seasons. But I mean, even if you don't have seasons, I think that's just something they should kind of like patch in. The option, like when you click on the pool, to just like cover it. I do think that would be really nice. it is weird when the pool's just open in the wintertime and then Sims tend to get in it. And you don't want that happening. You can put those things in the pool now, whatever they are, that like heats up the pool so you don't have to worry about your Sims freezing. But still, like, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be so much more realistic to have your Sims close their pool during the winter time, at least if they live in a world where it gets really cold in the winter. Next on my list is trampolines, another thing that we've had previously, so I know they can do it. And I used to always use mods for trampolines, but the animations were good, but like a little wonky. And so I just want the real thing in my game so bad. I feel like it's such a good backyard activity. And I mean, the whole family can go on the trampoline together. I think it would be so cute. So of course, I had to put on my list instruments like drums and stuff like that. However, I know that we likely will get a bands pack. So I'm just putting this on here now just in case. I also want to note that I'm pre-recording right now because I am moving. And so this video is going to go up when we've already seen a live stream. So there's a live stream happening the day that I'm moving. And by the time this goes up, that would have already passed. So I just want to like clarify that because I don't know if they're going to reveal things in that live stream. Of course, when you guys are watching this, we already know what happened in the stream. So I do just want to say that because at this current moment, I'm just like, oh, what if they announce something on my list in the live stream? Who knows? Anyways, moving on. Next is spiral staircases. Everyone begs for this and I don't blame them. They're such a good space saver too. And I feel like they also would be so perfect for certain kinds of builds. Like, people build castles and stuff for The Sims 4, and how cool would a spiral staircase look in something like that? And they would be so good for tiny homes and so many different things. I don't know. You could build some pretty magical lots with the spiral staircase as well. So I do hope we get those eventually. So another thing for the kids is a kids play oven. We've had this previously and I really miss it. I loved it in The Sims 2 and 3, like kind of like an easy bake oven type of thing. But yeah, like it's so cute to me, like when I was a kid, I loved my little play oven. I loved all my like fake food and all that. So I really think they need to add things like that for the kids in The Sims 4. Next up is volleyball. I think that's such a good sport to add into The Sims 4 personally. For the beach, also like water volleyball would be really cool. I feel like, I don't know why this happens, but I swear, things that I want most in The Sims 4 are always the things that either never come or take forever to come. That is something I have noticed. I want to know if you guys feel the same way down below. It just seems like, for example, the one occult that I wanted the most was fairies. Now, of course, we may already know that fairies are coming by this point. Like I said, this is pre-recorded, and obviously there's a ton of signs pointing at fairies. But what I'm saying is, if they're coming, it's been years and, they did all the other occults first. And I just feel like that always happens. The thing I want the most takes the longest to come or just never happens. But anyway, next up is boarding school. I would just want this as a rabbit hole. I just think it would be a nice option to have. And it was really good for certain storylines in The Sims 3. So zodiac signs, I had to put this on my list. Some people want it, some people don't. For me, I just think it's like a realistic thing to have. And we all have a zodiac sign. So why don't our Sims? Because it's a life sim. To me, it would just make a lot more sense. I feel like if you're someone who is not into that sort of thing, it should just be an option. Like the likes and dislikes, you don't have to put them in, but you can. I think could just be like that and it would be perfect. So number 18 is group photos. Of course, you can take a photo with one other sim, but I think we need an option to take group photos. I do think that's really important, especially with the family gameplay we have now. And also you can't have a parent take a photo with their child. So that's another thing that I feel like should be added in. Number 19 is pool tables. We have things like beer pong and stuff like that, but where are the pool tables at? That would be a great activity and would be so good for the bar and stuff like that as well. Next is bingo. Not just for the elders, for anyone, honestly. I want to have my Sims go to bingo. But it would be a great activity for the elders. Number 21 is auto roofs. I will ask for auto roofs forever. I am really surprised we don't have that yet. I definitely think that should be a base game update. And with The Sims 4 just going on till who knows, I think this is something they need to do. I feel like, the basic things like auto roof are things they should work on incorporating into The Sims 4 if they want to keep it going as long as they plan. So I also think we need retirement homes. Of course, now you could make one kind of, but like not really. I feel like there's so many features in The Sims 4 that they add in where you could make like a makeshift retirement home, a makeshift hotel, but it's like, it's not going to function how it should. And I just feel like we need the real thing. I don't see how retirement homes would be so difficult anyways. And there could be a system where, some elders just automatically get sent there after a certain amount of time, but not every elder in the world, because that would be crazy. And then I feel like you should be able to switch over to the elder, and then it's just a cute little retirement home and just like other elders live there. I just think that would be so cute. And it would be like a little community. Like, I don't know. I think that would make elder gameplay so fun, honestly. And then you could have the family come and visit too. So next is like totally opposite of a bunch of the last things I said, but lawnmowers. There's a mod for this, and I remember when that came out, I was like, wait, we need things like lawnmowers. Why don't we have things like that? Why can't we cut the grass? I think it would just be like a fun little thing to do. And especially with seasons, in the summertime, you got to cut the grass more often. I would love that. I don't know. I like just having little realism things like that. Obviously there's things with the vacuuming that I don't like. I wish it was a little bit different. And of course, I'm not the biggest fan of the dust bunnies, but overall, I like that we have that option. And, I like that our Sims can do laundry. I just want everything to feel like a simulation. So lawnmowers are definitely something I'd love to see. Going along with that, like just things that I feel like you just need in a life sim is proper alarm clocks. Like I'm talking where you can click on your alarm clock and set it for the time that they gotta go to work or school or whatever. I just miss that. And it would go off at the same time every morning, and they'd wake up and have their little morning routine to go to school or work. And another thing is the daycare career. I miss that with my whole entire heart. One where we can go with them, and you can kind of do it with businesses and hobbies. But again, it's like a sad excuse for it, I guess. And it makes me worried because I'm like, will they ever give us a playable daycare career because of that pack? Because I've seen people try it out in videos, and yes, kids will come and stuff like that, but it is not anything the same to me in comparison to the Sims 3 daycare career, or just, the playable careers in the Sims 4 in general. You have like your tasks to do, and a set amount of kids will show up every day, and yeah, like, I don't know. It doesn't work right with businesses and hobbies, in my opinion. So next is cars. I know, I had to put it on here, of course. But yeah, I still really think we need cars in The Sims 4, even though it's a closed world. I'm one of those people, again, I just feel like it's a life simulation game. Cars should be there. It doesn't really matter if it's not an open world. They were in The Sims 2. Because why wouldn't they be? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's just like, it's not there? What do you mean? It just makes more sense, and I just feel like with a life sim, those little things are important, like watching your sim drive out of the driveway, drive into the driveway, being able to go and get their driver's license, and then teenagers being able to practice driving, all of that, and then, like a fixer-upper car that your sim can fix up, and then it turns into a really nice car, cars being able to break down, all those little things. And of course, you can make it a new woohoo spot. But yeah, I just think things like that should definitely be in The Sims 4. And I mean, there has been hints for cars. So here's hoping. And then the color wheel. This is something that I feel like is never going to happen, but like we do get the color wheel for certain things like pets. And, with tattoos now, we can draw them and all that. So I feel like they could do it. Honestly, I would even just be happy with a color wheel for the hair. I would love it for everything. But if we got it for the hair, that would still be a win for me. Number 28 is school buses. So I feel like they should have never removed that. And of course, like if you have high school years, you will see the fake school buses outside of the school. And to me, that's a total tease. I really thought we were getting school buses when I saw those for the first time. And then they were just fake. And I was sad. Again, like they can just drive up and then, you know, the horn can honk and then the kids can go in the school bus and it drives off. It's that simple, but it really does add that much to the game. So number 29 is preschool. There's mods for this too, so I've experienced it in that sense, and I think it would be something really cool to have for the toddlers, especially now that we have infants. I mean, now that even more so makes me feel like toddlers look the perfect age for preschool, and I just think that would be so cute, and they could start making all their little friends. I don't know, like it can just be a revival. That's totally cool. And it could be like a half day, like they don't go for as long as a full school day. And then last but not least, number 30 on my list is child support. This is something you can do with MC Command Center. So it really doesn't seem hard to incorporate. I just feel like there should be a system where if two Sims have a child and they are not together, living separately, basically, like as long as they're living separately, I feel like there should be some sort of child support system that kicks in, you know, where it's just like a little pop-up that asks, like, do you want so-and-so to, you know, contribute to child support, and then you can click yes or no. I think that would be amazing. And you know, a lot of players love to play with single moms or single dads, and I do think that would add a lot. Again, console players don't have access to mods, so I just think it would be really nice. So anyways, you guys, that is my list of 30 things. I guess a few more than that because some of them have multiple things to them, like the gym equipment. But I want to know what items or features you want in The Sims 4, or ones that you feel like should just be there after almost 11 years. Maybe I can do another discussion video talking about the things you guys want, and you'll probably give me even more ideas. But with that, I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.
You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest.